I made 13 items in 2024, and in this video I'm going to be showing you all of them. There's a mix of clothing, accessories and home decor, and there's also a mix of me using other people's patterns or me self-drafting. So if you want some sewing inspiration for 2025, then this video is for you. Or if you just want to sticky beak into what I've been up to. Particularly if you're looking to branch out or diversify your sewing, I found 2024 really helpful for me because I did try lots of different things and I have a better understanding of where I need to improve my skills or what type of things I prefer sewing versus not. In this video, I'll give some broad reflections on my first year properly sewing, and then I will get straight into showing you each of the items. Feel free to use the timestamps below to navigate the video. And by the way, if you're new here, my name's Alex. I post fashion and sewing content here on YouTube. I'm relatively new to sewing, so feel free to follow along on my learning journey. So this year I made about 13 items. I know that might not be a lot for some people, but it's way more than I've ever made previously. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. Don't compare yourself to others compared to your past self. I always enjoy watching these videos on YouTube and seeing what everyone else is up to, so I wanted to share my year as well. I have sewed a little bit throughout my life, but 2024 was my first year where I was consistently sewing. I was only sewing part-time, but if you want to hear more about that whole backstory, feel free to watch this video. So my broad reflections on 2024 as a sewing year. Well, I made quite a lot for my standards. Not a heap, but I'm proud of it. And there were also a few little things that I was working on throughout the year that I will probably complete in 2025, which will be really exciting. In 2024, I was working quite slowly, and that was an intentional decision on my part. I think sewing is such a technical craft that it really pays to take your time and absorb the little details and, not be a super perfectionist about it, but really build up your skill set slowly so that you can create beautiful garments that can last your lifetime. My mentality is if I'm going to be using my valuable time and physical resources, that I should be being meticulous about it and I should be really enjoying the process. And that's definitely what I've done in 2024. In a similar vein, 2024 was quite exploratory. I tried bags, I tried some quilting, some garment making, some fabric printing, all these kind of different things. And that was so much fun. I got into a good stride in terms of my sewing routine and fitting it in my other commitments in my life. And I also set up a really practical sewing space. If you're interested in that, then feel free to check this video out here. I would love to say that I've got a massive dedicated sewing studio, but I don't. It's just a little living room sewing setup and it works really well for my needs. Also in 2024, I started this YouTube channel and I started sharing my learning journey. So I'm really pleased with that, and I really like being able to self-reflect and journal the process as I go along. Anyway, those are some broad vibes about my 2024. I'd love to hear your own reflections about how your year went and any sewing goals that you might have. But without further ado, we'll jump into the items. These are in the approximate order that I made them, but I am someone who kind of swaps between tasks, I must admit, and swaps between projects, so I can't perfectly remember the exact order that I made them in. And FYI, there's quite a few videos for each of these items, so if you're more interested in how I made them, then I'll post the link in the descriptions for those. Alright, number one, I made this ottoman cover. I wanted to add a little bit of texture to my living room. So I created this. This was super easy. I just draped fabric over it and it was just 3 pieces of fabric. But I did use French seams on the inside. So the ottoman cover is actually fully reversible, which is really cool. The fabric is darker on one side and then it's like more creamy on the other side. Number two, I made this tote bag, which I used the fabric scraps from the ottoman cover to make this, and I patchworked them together, and then the lining was also some thrifted fabric. I gifted this tote bag to my sister and she likes using it to go to the beach or just to, go shopping for the day. I think it's quite a unique piece and it's quite sturdy as well. Number three, I did this freehand embroidery. This was the first time I've ever done hand embroidery. This was based on a design that I had drawn on my iPad on Procreate. But as for the embroidery, I just YOLO'd it. I think it turned out pretty well, but I'd never done freehand embroidery before. So I did the silliest thing ever, which was I didn't even use an embroidery hoop. I just did it straight on the fabric. So obviously the fabric would pulled a bit. So in the future, use an embroidery hoop. That's more of a note for myself. I'm sure you're already across that, but yeah. I think it turned out pretty well given everything. Number 4, I made this Kindle cover for my partner, and he actually had some old clothes that he really liked that didn't fit him anymore, but the fabric was really nice. So it was some wool from these wool pants and also this nice speckled cotton from this cotton t-shirt of his, and I created this Kindle cover out of it with a little zip in the front so he could keep a pen or the Kindle charger. I'm happy with how it turned out. I didn't use a pattern for this one, but I didn't really need to. I probably should have given a little bit more space on the inside because it's quite a snug fit for the Kindle, but my partner hasn't had any issues with it and he was really stoked with the gift. Number 5. So this one was another gift, which was this little zippered pouch. This was a pattern by So Demented, which I purchased, and I also followed this lovely lady on YouTube and her tutorial, and I'll link that in the description below if you're interested in making this bag yourself. Number 6. So this project was kind of what kick-started my momentum into sewing. We have these nice secondhand chairs, which initially had a pleather base, and unfortunately they started peeling off, so I decided to make some slip covers for the chairs. And the chairs are a bit of a random shape. They've kind of got a bow at the front and they're wider at the front and narrower at the back. So it was actually quite difficult to make a pattern for this. I just used some calico and did quite a few different mock-ups until I was happy with the pattern. And then I purchased a linen blend upholstery fabric to create these chair covers. I had to make 8 of them, and they each have little individual Velcro attachments to make sure that they're secure on the chair, which is all to say that it actually took quite a long time to do all of these, and it was quite a fun project in the beginning, but by the end I was really having to make myself sit down and just get it done, and I was really happy when it was done. But yeah, I'm glad that I did that for our home, and they look really nice, and it just means that we're giving new life to some old dining chairs. Number 7. Now moving into some of the garments that I created. So firstly was this mauve tracksuit set. This was in the middle of winter when it was really cold. One of my sewing goals that I've always had in the back of my mind is to create the perfect tracksuit set for me, and this was basically my first go at it, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, but I think there's some adjustments that I would make in the future. But I made this towards the end of winter, so yeah, I wasn't really motivated to have a second go, but I'll do that in 2025. I'll have a second go at making a tracksuit set because I have some really nice royal blue fabric that I could use. But it was a fun project. It kept me warm at the snow, and yeah, I loved the color. Number 8. This one is something that took me a long time. I have a video for this one, but this is a reversible denim jacket. It's got hand embroidery detailing on the front. The denim is all patchworked and secondhand, and then on the inside or the outside, depending on what way you wear it, there is a quilted layer. It looks a bit like a denim-y blue, but it's just a cotton polyester blend fabric, which was from a thrift shop. This one's definitely unique. It's not necessarily my style, but I have actually worn it a fair bit, and so I enjoy it. It's close to my heart because I was probably doing the hand embroidery for that for about a year, and I just have some good memories attached to that process. Number 9. All right, then I made 2 turtlenecks. This was because I wanted to try out using my designs and fabric printing, so I created this shell fabric and then I made this beautiful top out of it. I'm so pleased with how it turned out, and it was such a fun experiment. Again, if you want to watch more about that, then there's a video in the description below. I used Kiana Pinolo's mock neck pattern for that top. Number 10. I also did a practice in this mauve color, and I think that turned out pretty nicely as well. I've run out of fingers. I can't do this anymore. Number 11. Number 12. Then I made a video on how to replicate your clothes, and I created these 2 boxy tees, which you might have seen. Those were gifts, so I don't have them anymore, and the recipient is really pleased with them. Number 13. Lucky last. Finally, I made this quilted Santa sack. This was such a fun project, and I'm definitely keen to do more quilting in 2025 because it was very, very therapeutic. Maybe that's just because it was the holiday season and I was feeling festive. Who knows, but yeah, that was a good project. All right, so that's everything that I made. It was such a fun year of sewing, and I'm beyond excited to keep going in 2025 and to see everything that I create this year. I do have big sewing and YouTube plans, but if there's anything specific that you want to see, as always, leave a comment in the description and I'll work to implement that in my plans. Also, if you're interested in how much my sewing hobby cost in 2024, well, I've created a video about that as well, so check it out. Thanks everyone, and Happy New Year. Wishing you the most lovely, happy, productive day. you.